Okay. Happy Tuesday, you guys. It's my birthday week.
Happy birthday week.
Thank you. I turned 29. Can you believe it?
Old.
What a baby.
I know. It's ridiculous.
I thought that you were younger than that for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Nope. Turning 29.
We're not that far apart because I'm 33. We're not that far apart.
No. Not at all.
Claire, you look like a baby.
Figure that out.
I do. Thanks.
When you had Hannah, 19. Paige.
Huh?
You had Paige at Hannah.
Paige.
Paige. I forget which
Paige.
one. At 19. I was trying to figure out. I was like, she can't be that much older than me.
No.
Okay, so we have some good topics that we wanted to kind of like talk about, and then kind of just get everybody's like, kind of like brainstorm and stuff like that. And this might be actually really helpful for people who are maybe like, it might be good that I am recording for people to watch and just kind of get an idea of different ways to like work your business. So we wanted to talk about like time management. So we can kind of go through like how everybody works their business, and we can kind of just share that. And if something isn't working for you, you can share that, or if, like what has been really working for you with like time management and how you schedule in your business. I think that's going to be really helpful for people watching the recording and like people who just want to work the business but can't figure out how to get it into their life. To hear from 5 different people on how we all work the business, because all of our lives are so different. So I think that's going to be super helpful. So I don't know if we want to just start there and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah.
I wrote down some other topics too, but we'll just kind of start there and see where it goes from there. So does anyone have a struggle with time management? Maybe we should start there. No one has a struggle with time management?
Yes.
Maybe we all want more time, right? No? Well, nobody wants more time in their day. So, I guess I'll share.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I have, I try to set aside time, and then I feel like it's never enough, you know? So I'll get started, and then I'll be like, oh, man, and then I'll run into, like, something else that I was supposed to be doing, so.
With, like, your business?
Mm-hmm.
Shakti, I muted you, so when you want to talk, you must be coughing or something. So when do you normally work your business?
I have been pretty successful recently in getting to my day job early and doing it there. So like around 7 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. So like 7 until you have to start working.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, can I say one thing? I heard you say should, and from what I have learned, the things that I should do, I don't ever have time for. Things that I want to do, I have all the time in the world. So maybe shift that and start doing things that you want to do in your business and just in your life.
I like it.
Yeah, good.
I mean, that's it. I mean, Lauren, we've been talking a lot in the past week and finding the things that I want to do to at least like get going, you know, and then it's kind of like an avalanche effect. Like, oh, well, I'm here. I may as well, you know, do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
that's huge. That's good. I like it.
Good.
The only question I had.
We were like, every time we were like, sync. But we were going to, oh, yeah, I unmuted you, Shakti.
Oh, okay. I like to raise the hand feature. It's so efficient. Okay, so my intention has been to have like work days now that I put my son in school. And then he's been like tragically sick for all the weeks that I have put him in school.
Oh no.
So I haven't actually had like the block of time that I am like paying for to have. That was like a big thing for me, as I invested in having him put in a private school of my choosing so that I could have time to work my business. But because he's been sick and that hasn't really been possible, my time management has looked like a lot of me constantly being on my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm also making that okay. I'm making that like a season of my life and not being like, oh, this is awful. Like, it is what it is. I love this business. I love helping people connect. And so I'm just doing that for a season of my life. And what I find really good is, number one, not judging that. That's like really important. Don't judge the season of your life that you're in, and however it is that you have to work your business right now, that's okay. It's not always going to be that way. And if you want it to be different, it can be. So I think that's really important to remember. Yeah, I wish someone would have said that to me like way early on.
Right.
I think that's really important. And number two is I've been focusing on my joy activities, as Claire suggested. And so the thing I always do without a fail is I'm consistently sharing my journey. Everything, whether it's posts on IG and Facebook, because I'm on both platforms, and the stories, I'm constantly talking on both of those platforms, like every day. If I do nothing else, I'm doing that along with like working out, having my Shakeology, whatever. And I feel like that has really kept my momentum going because I've been so consistent with the sharing, even if I've struggled to make time for other things.
Right. Well, and I think
So, yeah.
The sharing is one of the vital behaviors, you know?
Right.
So it's like if you can literally just focus on doing your stuff, like your workouts, your TV, eating healthy, whatever, focus on that stuff and sharing, people will eventually start coming to you when you're consistent with that. And that's kind of like what Alicia talked about last night on the Misfit call. Was exactly that. Like when she kind of jumped back into things in February, I think she said January, she started really sharing her journey consistently. February was she had maybe one or two people come to her, and now she was like her income, and not that it's about income, but her income was like 1,000%. It increased 1,000% from like February to now. And
Wow.
she's been so consistent with even through people not liking or commenting or messaging. And I think that's where we get hung up. And I know I get hung up with that too. I'm like, I thought this was going to be a really awesome post and nobody liked it. And sometimes I take it down and repost it, but we have to remember too, like, people are watching even though they're not liking or commenting. And the more consistent you are sharing your journey every single day, the more people are going to see that you are consistent and you are somebody they want to work with and reach out to, because you're showing up for yourself every single day. And I think that's the biggest part. Like, show up for you every day, share your story. People will see that, and they will start to want that, you know? Because I mean, I've been talking to some people on, and this isn't really about time management, but on like Instagram, and they say, oh yeah, I'm a coach too, and like just kind of talking about how like they aren't, I don't know where I was going with this, but or like they're a customer and like their coach doesn't really show up, so they're like they don't have that support from somebody else. But like, people are gonna want to do what you're doing and showing up every single day, basically.
I was just gonna say I pretty much have Alicia's exact same story. Like even to like the increase of my income, it's like exactly her story. So like, and I pretty much did exactly everything she said. I was watching her call and I was like, yep, that's exactly what I did. Yep, that was the exact timeline I took. Yep, that's how that happens. Yeah, it works.
Well, because you guys committed to a program and sharing your journey throughout that program.
Yeah.
People literally could see the change in you every day, you know?
I want to say, so for me in this season, I'm really just kind of sticking to sharing and then doing my own, personal growth, because I realized that for a really, really long time, like pretty much the entire length that I've been a coach, so like 3 years or something, I overcompensated with action because I wasn't energetically a match for the things that I wanted. And so I'm lining up with the things that I want currently, and then knowing that the action will follow that. So I don't really do the things that I used to do. I used to like really do a lot of crazy stuff, and I had success, but it wasn't the success that I wanted. And so since I started to do it like this, I hit Success Club 10, and like by the 10th of the month, and just all these things that used to take, I used to really have to try hard. And so I really think that there's a lot to be said for be personal work, and like really doing what it takes on the inside and then allowing that to then reflect on the outside. So.
Right. Yeah, let me try again. So kind of like back to the time management. Like for me, it's the same thing, just like what they shared, like season, just the season you're in. Like for the longest time, I worked my business during nap time. Before Grayson, I had all day to work my business and got nothing done. Like literally, like I look back when I was like not a mom and I'm like, how the heck was I not, how am I not where I want to be with all the time I had to work my business, right? And so like now it's like I've switched it to, I work my business in the morning from like 6:15 to 8. And I get like, I just literally like, and this kind of goes into like the next topic of like what feels good and what that actually looks like to people, because it's going to be different for all of us. But also like sometimes you have to do things that sometimes you just have to do and see if it feels good, and then decide like, do I like doing this? Does this feel good? Okay, I'm going to keep doing this. Or I didn't really like that. Let's switch it up. Let's try this, because it's going to be different for everybody. So like for me, I have this little, and I don't know if I shared this with you guys last year, or last week. It's like just a little ideas checklist thing. And I'll just write on here like, okay, I'm going to write down my like business to do, or like my, what feels good today. Write those things down. And like today it was follow up with people who pulled on my IG story, answer in Instagram messages, check in with my self-love club, work out, follow up with 2 ladies, listen to the Misfit call, and then listen to another training call, and then our team call. Like that was my what felt good today. Tomorrow it's going to be something different. And for all of you, it's going to be something different. Like it might be today I really want to focus on adding to my network, or I really want to focus on like, and me and Jen were talking about this last week, but like answering and messaging all the people who are liking and commenting on like her transformation post that she posted last week or on Sunday. So like that could be something that's just her focus for the day. So it's like, it's going to be different for everybody. I don't know if Claire, you kind of wanted to talk more about that, because we kind of talked about that a little bit, but if not, that's fine. You're muted.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute, it's telling me to unmute myself. Oh, wait a minute, I'm muted. Yeah, so we were just talking a little bit about like how like a lot of times people think that if it doesn't feel good, like that means that they shouldn't do anything, but you're always just going to have to start like somewhere and then kind of go from there, so like don't use that as an excuse to not start, because it's not always going to feel good. But the more that you do things, the more then you can compare it, and then kind of like find what feels good for you. So like the only reason that I know what feels good for me now is because I did a whole bunch of shit in the past that felt like crap. So you just kind of have to start someplace and then go from there.
Right. With that too, it's like, I'm gonna mute Shakti again. I'm keep unmuting her in case she like wants to talk. Shoot, what was I gonna say? I think with that too, it's like right away, the doing and the starting is uncomfortable, and that doesn't feel good. But uncomfortable, not feel good, is different than this feels icky, not feel good. So it's like for new coaches, reaching out to maybe somebody who is liking and commenting on our stuff might feel not good yet, but it's because it's uncomfortable and they're not used to it, versus I just did not like doing that. That felt really icky. I don't ever want to do that again. Like that's 2 different feelings, I feel like. So for like a new coach who's watching, like even with workouts, I think, like sometimes working out doesn't always feel good, but we know we need to do it. And sometimes when you just start, it feels good once you get going. And it's kind of like the same thing with work. Sometimes you don't maybe feel like doing it, but you're like, this is my time that I need to work. So what do I want to do with my business right today? And I think that's maybe a good question to ask. Like, what do I want to do for my business right now? Like get your personal development in, and then what? Like what else could you do? And it looks different to everybody. So I don't know if we want to kind of share like what well, I guess, I don't know if Shakti has anything, but she could even share like what her business, like what feels good to her, like what her business looks like when she works.
Okay. Well, I just unmuted myself. Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
Okay. Technology. It's great. So I want to kind of piggyback off of that conversation because the whole feel good thing, Lauren, you're right on. There's two different real types of like, this doesn't feel good. And identifying that is really important. And the only way you really get to identify that is by getting to know yourself. And so if you're not spending time in like self-reflection and self-awareness and doing things and figuring out this is a ping, this is not a ping, as Claire was saying, you're never going to know what the difference is between those two things. And then what ends up happening is paralysis, and then you don't want to do anything, and then everything just kind of spirals out of control. For me, when it comes to something I always tell my coaches, and I think I said this in another call, but this is like really, really important, and you can't hear it enough. If you're not doing the first two vitals, you have no business doing the third one. Like, it doesn't even make sense for you to invite anyone to anything if you're not being a part of the product, working out, taking care of yourself, and doing personal development. You cannot fake this business. You cannot fake any part of it. You can't fake the invitation. You can't fake the interest. You can't fake the curiosity. It doesn't work. And I have several coaches on my team right now figuring that out real time. Figuring it out because they finally committed to a program. They stopped making excuses. And now they're full of ideas and they know exactly what to do every day when they show up for their business. They're no longer telling me, I don't know what to do, or I don't know, because they're doing the work. They're doing the important core work. They have things to talk about. They have things to invite to. You know, they finally, it clicked. So before you go into like, what feels good to me? Like, are you doing those two vitals? Are you really doing them? Or are you cutting corners? Because it's going to show up. It's going to show up in you not knowing how to engage in your day.
I agree 25% with that, because I was the same way. Like, for a really long time, I was inconsistent in my workouts and all of that. And I was like, didn't have any inspiration for anything. Because I was passionate about our products and about our mission. And so when you're not passionate about the things that we are built on, there's no way that you can ever, people are going to pick up on that. So,
and it goes a little even deeper than that. Like, when you're not doing those things, your subconscious, you're out of integrity. Yeah. On a deep level, you know you're out of integrity.
You do.
And because you know that, you feel shame and you don't want to do the rest of the work. It is very basic and it goes down to the core of your consciousness.
Yeah.
So if you're ignoring those two things, you can't move. You are literally checkmate.
I mean, Raina actually admitted to not working out or doing anything for several months in her own business, and she still killed it. I think maybe
she was also really sick though. She was also real sick.
But this was before she found out that she had all of that that ulcerative colitis. This was like those couple months, I think, and then she gained like 30 pounds or whatever. But
I think she has built a following to where people come to her.
Yeah,
even if she isn't working out or faking it, because people have been watching her.
And she probably hustled her freaking ass off to make that happen.
Oh yeah.
Because that's the thing. If you're not going to do this stuff, then you have to leverage, and you're going to leverage by working so much. You're going to probably give yourself, I ended up with ulcerative colitis. I wonder what triggered that. Like, I'm not to be a dick, but this is how stress works. And UC is a stress-related disorder. It's triggered by stress. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's all connected. It's all connected.
Yep. That's why I worked so hard, because I didn't have any of the integrity.
Yeah. And that's what ends up happening. So how I work my business is I make sure those two things are always in check. And as soon as I start to slip, I give myself a reality check. And I'm like, nope, get back to it. Nope, get back to it. And I share that. I share all of that. And every day when I show up now, I'm actually to the point, to be really honest, where people are constantly asking me stuff. They're constantly in my inbox. They're constantly in my stories. So I feel really blessed that I have that just kind of pouring into me. And my reach outs have actually not been very many since the beginning of the year. And I've still been hitting Success Club. But I did do reach outs before. It's just the season of my business that I'm in now. Like, it's really not that many. It's only when I think of someone or I kind of stumble upon someone that I think would be a good fit.
Like, and isn't that how we all like want it to be though?
Yes.
I mean, that's ideal.
Yeah.
So it started because she started to be, and I don't like when you guys were talking about being passionate about like the products. I don't even think, yes, obviously be passionate about what we have to offer, but I think more important, it's about being passionate about your own journey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. To better yourself every single day. That leads through everything. So it's not so much about being passionate about like products, because people don't buy the products, they buy you sharing your journey. But I think it's because you spent the last 6 months or year really investing and digging into you, and
it's true,
showing up and doing the reach outs and doing that, like doing all that kind of stuff that built that foundation.
Yep.
Now the people are coming to you. Like maybe you reached out to them a year ago and they've been watching you for a year. And
that's exactly what's happened. A lot of it, yeah.
Right, exactly.
But my reach outs are really conversational. I just want to like throw that out there. Like I used to be the person who sent a lot of messages and then like harass people with follow-ups for like a long ass time.
Me too.
Like a maniac. And now I follow up twice. If I do not get a response twice, gone in the next. And I just let them watch me, and then I just do comments. I do a lot of comments. I follow people's stories. I write them cute messages. Like I'm very, very casual in my business. I'm the furthest thing from a formal like entrepreneur you've ever seen, but it works in my favor 1,000% because people don't feel threatened and they don't feel like I'm cornering them.
Right.
And you're having fun. And I think that, if you get to a point, and I got to a point with my business too, where I was like, this isn't fun anymore.
Yep.
Like, it was all about, I was actually doing a job coach training. It was all about numbers, like high numbers. And I got to a point where I was just burnt out. It wasn't fun anymore. I legit was like contemplating, like, is this even for me? Like, do I even want to keep coaching? Because I was so burnt out. And it was because it wasn't fun anymore. It wasn't fun to check into my inbox. It wasn't fun to check into my back office. It wasn't fun to check into Facebook. And if you get to a point when your business isn't fun anymore, you guys got to go back to like fun.
Basics.
Basics. What did you love about this business in the first place, and start doing that? And most of the time it's like they talked about, like, you're out of check with your own health and fitness and your personal development. And when those things get in check, it becomes fun again, because you're actually
pretty much every time, like 100% of the time, if you're not having fun, you drop the ball on those two things. Like for sure.
Right. And we were going to kind of talk about personal development too, before the thing goes off. But I think this, because me and Claire were boxing today, and we were like, holy crap, like she had a huge aha thing today, and I had a huge aha yesterday, and we were kind of just talking about like, how can we help, and Dr. will probably be a good one for this too, how can we help like you guys and our team have those ahas, and not even ahas, but like growth moments, like, holy shit, this awakening has been holding me back from so much, and like we were kind of just talking about like how we can have those without like spending a ton of money on like trainings, because like we did the Amanda Frances training, and we don't want to say this is the only way to do it, spend this much money and then it will happen. But we were just kind of talking about how if you're doing the right personal development or listening to the right personal development, you guys should be having those growth moments. Is that what you would want to even call them? Growth moments? I don't know what you call them. So like that's something to even like check. Like if you feel like the personal development that you're doing is not like giving you those moments where you're like, holy crap, this is where I've like dropped the ball, or this is what's been holding me back, that's got to shift too.
I'd like to add in something to the personal development conversation. Aside from that, which is true, you've got to do personal development that resonates and that meets you where you are. You have to ask yourself questions. Like, you really have to get curious about what is holding you up. And you have to be brave enough to answer them and not just like tread water like forever and pretend that you're doing work and you're not, and pretend that everything's okay and you're on fire. And like, no, like, don't. Don't pretend that everything's fine and you're on fire. That doesn't work. You know, like, look at the fact that you're on fire and start asking yourself and reflecting on the fact that you're on fire. Like, that's probably a good idea. How did I catch fire? How do I put the fire out? Like, this is really important. And I think a lot of times we just kind of like, oh yeah, read my 10 pages, or oh yeah, heard my audiobook, and we just like jump right back into our lives and pretend that, you know, somehow by osmosis we grew, and we don't actually give ourselves the space to like sit with what we heard or sit with what we read, reflect on it, and ask, you know, difficult questions.
Right.
And I think with that too, like, I used to be so bad, like, I'd ask myself a question and then I'd sit and think about it for like ever, instead of just like writing down the first thing that came to my mind. I'd just sit there and I'd like try and think like, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, and just like think about it. My wheels would spin instead of just being like, this is what it really is. You know?
And I think that it also gets easier with practice, because I used to have to sit and journal for like hours, and then I would cry for like hours. Now I can like literally be like, okay, what's holding me back? Oh, boom. Okay, done. You know, switch it. But it's literally took me like 2 years. So.
Right. But that's the beauty of it, you guys, is this is a whole freaking journey. You know? You're never going to get to the point where you're like, I've made it, I'm perfect, I don't have to do any more growing. We're never
right.
Probably die.
And that's boring.
Like, holy crap, I should have done more growing or whatever, you know? So it's like the same with our health and fitness. You're never going to get to a point where you're like, I don't need to work out, I don't need to eat healthy anymore, I've made it. You know, that's just, it goes so hand in hand, and I think I love that part about Beachbody so much, is that part of our legit vitals. Like, do those two things every day and share what you're learning, what you're doing. And I don't know, I feel like I had like a topic about like sharing what that looks like, because I know like we always say like, share your journey. But some people maybe don't even know what that necessarily looks like, or, you know, so I don't know if that's a topic we could talk about now or next time, but because that's going to be different for everybody too. Like,
I could talk about that all day.
like 8 minutes.
I feel like I should just do a video. I probably should just do a video on this, because storytelling is really an art. I mean, it's an art, it's a science. I studied creative writing in college, so I'm kind of biased and like overly educated on how to write a story. So like way too much. But it's really important to kind of understand like why people like stories and why people want to read them and what it is about them that engages them, in order that you understand how to post, you know, when you want to share a real post. Not every post is going to be mad deep, but you do want to have those in there. You know, and Alicia said that in her post. She was like, go do your diary on them. That's what she meant when she talked about that. So I think it would be really, I'm going to do that this week. Hopefully my son will actually go to school this week, and then I can actually do a video for you guys about this.
Yeah, that would be super helpful, because I think that's where people struggle, is they're like, okay, share my story or share my journey, and then they just post like day 58 out of 80 done, and it's like,
right,
like that is sharing, but it's not sharing the raw and the real and the Dear Diary part of it. It's just done. When
I go Dear Diary, I always feel more connected, and then I feel like my audience is also more connected. I should do it. Well, I want to do it more. I kind of forget, and I sometimes get like hung up on this like other type of sharing, but I do want to do more of like the real, like transparent stuff.
Right. And like Shakti said, every post doesn't have to be like that.
Right.
It's not, I mean, people don't want to see that either and can be amazing. I actually shared like that content calendar thing that I got from Amanda Bucci in her training that I'm doing, and that's kind of like separates it too. So like she has Sunday do like some type of video, Monday share your story, your brand, Tuesday do a teaching topic, Wednesday social proof. So you should listen to me because kind of like thing. Thursday was like a polarity, so kind of like your opinion on something. Friday was personal, and then Saturday was just kind of like content. So like even having just kind of like an idea of different things to post might help some people. For me, I'm just like, this is what I feel like posting today, but I've been doing this for a long time too. So
me too.
Anybody.
And what helps me is I've actually started to use a Instagram scheduler. It's called Plann, Plann, and I get to plan out all of my posts. Like I can like literally plan them out for like months and months. And I've gone down to like posting only once a day on both platforms, and I pretty much post the same thing. And then I post kind of whatever I want on my personal page, and then I post the scheduled post on my Instagram and then on my like page. And it hasn't really changed anything for me. Like, and the posts feel, and then I'm not, freaking out like, oh my God, what do I post? Cause it's like already done. So that's helped me.
Right. Oh, little dude.
Hey, Mitcher.
Oh, sorry. He doesn't want to.
Little attitude. His hat backward. The attitude to match.
You must
Yep.
be Maddie with your hat backwards, weren't you?
He's cute.
He's mean mugging all of us.
This is, yeah, pretty much. I was gonna say something too. I think, I've had such a hard time wrapping my brain around not have to posting 3 to 5 times a day, because that's when we started. That's how we were doing. Post 3 to 5 times a day. But also when even like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 7 years ago, we didn't have stories. And I think now sharing on your story 5 times, oh, it's a kitty. 5 times a day, whatever, it means you don't have to share that much on your actual posts. So your posts can be more, like valuable and you want to go on a walk? Valuable versus just my workout's done. When we're done, then we can go on a walk. So yeah, that's my thought on that.
Right. Well, and your posts almost are going to like make people want to watch your stories.
Right. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah, we'll go on a walk. Anyone have any questions about anything? About time management or feel goods, or what else did we talk about? I think those are the main. Personal development. I know for me too with personal development, sometimes I don't even read a book. I've been really into like listening to podcasts, so that way every day it's kind of something different. And I listen to it while I work out. So like for me, that's been just helping, because I can kind of be like, this is what I feel like I need today. Here's a podcast on it, versus like, I don't really feel like reading this book, but I need to because I need to get my personal development in,
Mm-hmm. I've been listening to a lot of Abraham Hicks. That's been my personal development, like a lot lately.
Right. Nothing? Nobody has anything else? Do we want to take a selfie? You want to be in our selfie? You probably don't, because you hate pictures. I don't know whose child you are. Your daddy's child, not who you are. Okay. Take a picture. You can smile. No? There. Okay. See the picture? Everybody's smiling but you. Okay. Also remember that the last Tuesday of the month we'll do more like a new coach focus. So make sure you have like your new coaches get on, and we'll kind of do the same thing. Like we'll talk about how what we all feel like are good things for new coaches to talk about. We can have them ask questions and kind of go about it that way too. It's not going to be super like, this is what you should be doing, but we'll talk about like how to figure out what feels good and the 4 vitals and that kind of stuff too. So Anything else you guys can think of? Nope. Okay. Well, that's it. That's all I have. I'll post this picture in the group.
Bye, guys.
Awesome. See y'all.
Okay, bye.